Hi, you guys. So I wanted to take a minute to talk to you about setting up your Photoshop document before you get started and doing image searches. And then I'm going to be showing a whole bunch of great videos that I found on YouTube. One of the things that I wanted to start out with, however, is it's very, very easy to start a document that isn't high enough resolution that you'll be able to print it well later. And so it's something that you have to start from the very first. You have to find the right images and you have to make sure that your image is the right size. So let's start out by looking at this guy, which is the one that I pulled earlier. We're going to go to image and down to image size. So you can see that he is 300 resolution, which is industry standard. Now your documents can be smaller, they can be 200. You're not printing these professionally, so you don't need the kind of quality that you might need. But to be honest, if I were you, I would start doing 300 just so that you know that that's industry standard. You can see that it's giving me the pixels, but let's look at it in inches, because then it becomes less appealing. This document becomes less appealing. You can see that it's only 5 inches by 3 inches, which is maybe why it's free. And it will look great on the screen, but when you print it off, you're only going to be able to print it off at a smaller size to get the kind of quality that you need for something like your portfolio. So this might be a template that we pass on. I didn't like it anyway, so you know that. So that's something to think about right from the start. So let's make this more practical. Let's go ahead and start the document setup for your poster. We're going to go to File, down to New, and you should do this first before you bring in any images. Now, my dogs were barking, and so I have already set this up. I'm going to have a width of 20 and a height of 24 with a resolution of 300. And you'll notice that this is set to CMYK. Normally this would be set to RGB, and this would be set to 72, and this would be some random number. But I've set it to the parameters 20 by 24, 300 resolution, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That is for anything that you're printing off. If you're doing on-screen things, you know that you're doing RGB and your resolution should be set to 72. So those are really important things to think about right from the start. So let's go ahead and create that. So here we are. We have this document, but we now have to go find those images that are going to populate that document and allow us to do some high quality photo manipulation, which is what I'm hoping that we see in your work. All right, so let's go to my browser. And I've actually already kind of isolated an image. One of the things that, you know, maybe I want to start out with is a cloudy sky, and I'm going to drop something on top of it, which means that I need to start looking at the sizes of my document. The sizes of the images I'm pulling. So I have to do a couple of things. I need to go to Tools and click there, and I need to go down to Size and make sure that I'm getting the largest images that the web is offering. We can also do high resolution. So high resolution, let's say I am mildly attracted. Anytime you see these little things, it means that this is a copyrighted image and it's for sale somewhere. Now, if you want to go and buy images, they are often not very expensive, but I wouldn't encourage. So maybe we do this. We'll click on it. Let's see how big it is. We're going to roll over it, and we can see that it's 1920 by 1080. Let's go back to our document and look at our image size. And we can see that is 6,000 by 7,200. Now, so one of the things that we're not seeing there is we're not seeing the resolution. So the resolution, the resolution might be higher in that document. So let's click on this one. Oop, looked like there was one that had, oh, look at this. So 8,000 by 3,000, that's a winner chicken dinner. So let's click on that and see what that image is doing. You can see that it took a minute to download, which means that it is large. And you can see that the file size is quite large. So that might be something that we download. And so I can click Control and do an image, save image as, and I'll drop it in here. Now, because I knew what I was doing with this demo, I actually went and found something that I thought I could use to demo, even though it's not large enough. Let's go ahead and look at it. Too many things open. Let's go ahead and look at its composition in Photoshop without. So we're going to come up here and do image size, and you're going to see that it's 2560 by 1600. So let's go make sure that this is still our high resolution. All right, so let's go ahead and drop it in here. So I'm going to go to File, down to Place Embedded. And I'm going to find my image and place it. And then I'm going to move it where I want it. Looks like it's fitting rather well. It's half the page, which, isn't perfect. But let's say that the bottom half are the tour dates and I want to use something else. We can still use this image. So let's come in here and we're going to add a layer right below it. And I'm going to use the eyedropper to select that background color. I'm going to hit Command A, Command A, and I'm going to go to Edit and Fill. I have this PC keyboard, and so I get stumbled because I'm trying to remember if I can give you guys the Windows key commands, but it's not giving me. So I want to do the foreground color, which is the blue that I picked, and I'll click OK. Now we can see that there's a line there. Now we can still come in with some depth here and like play with that. So for example, I could look for some of these darker colors, and then over the top of layer 1 that we've created, I could come in with a much bigger brush. We're going to make it real big. Get crazy. Oh, that's too big. Too small. Just right. So we can come in and we can set the flow and opacity to a little bit lighter, and doesn't seem to be giving me much. So I'm going to click and find a darker color, and let's see, my opacity is 100. I'm wondering why it's not giving me great color. Hardness, perfect. Flow, 100. Opacity, 100. I wonder if it's because I need to rasterize this. All right, so let's try that. I'm gonna soften the edge of this bottom with just an eraser. And so you can see that it is giving me that no, you can't. So I'm going to click on that image, and it's going to tell me it needs to rasterize before proceeding. And so we'll click OK. And then we're going to just bump up a little bit and soften that into this background. So that's we're actually seeing that color underneath there now. And it actually transitions kind of nicely. We're going to leave it alone because maybe we bring something over the top of it and it's not going to matter. But the whole point of this video is to show you how to find images that are going to be big enough so that you're going to have a quality experience. And you can see as we zoom in, they're still looking pretty good, right? So make sure that you are setting up your document. So you also have to set up your 12.5 by 12.5 album. Make sure that it's 300 and CMYK, and make sure that you're finding these images large enough. I'm going to be giving you a whole set of tutorials that are really involved, that are specifically geared toward creating posters or doing selections that I found on YouTube. So those are going to be part of your kind of learning module, since it takes actually a great deal of time to make these videos and to kind of set up the classroom. I'm going to be taking advantage of YouTube as a way to do a few less demos. All right, I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.